And early on, as I was beginning to start the process of adapting this film, I'm a man. And this is a story that is told.
Blake Lively reportedly believes she's doing the right thing and, according to People, has no regrets. Yet sources claim she is in complete meltdown mode after the Hollywood Reporter exposed shocking details about her behavior on set. Her carefully curated, polished image appears to be unraveling, and it seems no one can blame anyone but her own actions. Rumors suggest she's devastated as the cracks in her persona finally show, with some portraying her outrage as a noble act of carrying a burden for others, while critics argue it may be more about diverting attention from her alleged controlling behavior during the production of It Ends. With Us, witnesses say the set became tense, with co-stars and directors struggling under her influence, while negative press swirled, which she later compared to a pylon against public figures. Enter Justin Baldoni, the man at the center of this drama, who has pushed back with evidence challenging Blake's narrative, while her team paints him as an unprofessional nightmare. Justin's side, supported by a seasoned lawyer, casts Blake as the aggressor pretending to be the victim. Accusations of cultural insensitivity and inconsistencies in her story have fueled the public feud, turning what should be a private production conflict into a highly publicized, almost courtroom-like battle. With PR teams clashing as the world watches, Blake Lively's public persona has become a study in contradictions, swinging between joyful red carpet appearances, baking donuts on SNL, and claiming to carry the burden for other victims, only to pivot moments later to apparent regret and sadness. While she has positioned herself as a fearless advocate for women in Hollywood, standing up against sexism and toxic work environments, critics argue her narrative is inconsistent, especially as she balances motherhood to her children with husband Ryan Reynolds alongside legal battles. Justin Baldoni, at the center of this storm, has meticulously countered her claims with emails, texts, and witness accounts, presenting a level of preparedness that has exposed inconsistencies in Blake's story and portrayed her alleged need for control on set of It Ends with Us as obsessive micromanagement. Baldoni claims she attempted to take over his movie, secretly aiming to direct, produce, and edit while positioning herself as the star, raising questions about whether her actions were about ensuring success or crossing a line. Meanwhile, Blake's public outrage over a cartoon and her victim narrative have been viewed by many as distractions from these more serious allegations, as her team leans on emotional appeals and PR strategies while Justin's camp sticks strictly to facts, winning over skeptics and slowly restoring his reputation. The fallout has split Hollywood. Some still see her as a feminist icon, while others view her as orchestrating a narrative to control perception. With the legal battle becoming intensely personal, even implicating Ryan Reynolds, critics note the irony of her championing victims while simultaneously promoting her products, and the timing of negative press, which she compared to political pylons, underscores the complexity and spectacle of this saga. At its core, this isn't just another celebrity spat, it's a career-defining moment that has exposed the tension between image, ambition, and accountability, making Blake Lively's meltdown one of the most talked-about dramas in Hollywood today. And the story is far from over. Blake Lively's timeline and public persona have been riddled with contradictions, swinging from spontaneous red carpet joy and baking donuts on SNL to sudden sadness, regret, and claims of carrying a burden for other victims, all while her so-called spur-of-the-moment activism, like collaborating with the New York Times for an expose, it was actually meticulously planned months in advance. Critics argue that her lawsuit feels less like a pursuit of justice and more like a masterclass in rebranding, with PR-crafted photo spreads, Instagram captions, and strategically melancholic appearances turning court filings into public spectacle. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni has methodically dismantled her narrative, presenting emails, texts, on-set reports, and witness accounts that challenge her claims and portray her alleged need for control on the set of It Ends with Us as obsessive micromanagement.
And it takes place over a short period of time because our heroine, our hero, Stella, is in for what they call a tune-up. So
Baldonis.com evidence-backed approach contrasts sharply with Blake's calculated victim narrative, which leans into stereotype and PR mysticism, and even involved mischaracterizing co-star interactions. According to Adam Manch, while Blake positioned herself as a selfless crusader for women, the timing of product promotions, curated photo ops, and emotional leaks suggests a carefully orchestrated image campaign, leaving the public and Hollywood insiders questioning whether her outrage, including over a cartoon she called sexist, was a distraction from deeper allegations. As the lawsuit unfolds, Baldoni emerges as a grounded counterpoint to her chaos, turning the victimhood narrative on its head and slowly restoring his reputation, while Blake's previously polished red carpet image begins to crack, revealing a saga of control, contradictions, and calculated theatrics that has made this legal and public feud one of the most talked about dramas in Hollywood, with far-reaching implications for both stars. Blake Lively's once spotless reputation is now facing intense scrutiny as her carefully crafted public persona begins to crack under the weight of her legal battle with Justin Baldoni. Critics point out her timeline is full of contradictions, from spontaneous activism with the New York Times that metadata reveals was meticulously planned months in advance, to public appearances oscillating between carefree red carpet joy, baking donuts on SNL, and moments of calculated melancholy meant to evoke sympathy. Her lawsuit, framed as a quest for justice and a stand for victims, is being viewed by many as a masterclass in rebranding, with PR-crafted photo spreads, Instagram captions, and emotional leaks transforming court filings into a theatrical spectacle. Meanwhile, Baldoni has methodically dismantled her claims with emails, texts, on-set reports, and witness accounts, including testimony from co-star Adam Manchin, who called Blake's allegations offensive and untrue, clarifying that all allegedly invasive scenes were handled professionally. Observers note that while Blake portrays herself as a selfless crusader, her public maneuvers from Disneyland anecdotes and humble brag interviews to promoting Ryan Reynolds' gin brand during press tours suggest a carefully orchestrated image campaign. The inconsistencies and embellishments in her storytelling, including past claims like starting school at 3 and interrogations at Disneyland, raise further doubts about her credibility. Media outlets that once idolized her, like People, have shifted tone, reporting conflicting claims about her regrets and steadfastness, while internet sleuths dissect metadata to reveal months of pre-planning behind her so-called spontaneous actions. As the lawsuit continues, Baldoni's.com evidence-backed approach contrasts sharply with Blake's PR-driven narrative, gradually flipping the victimhood story on its head and casting her in a more manipulative light. The public and Hollywood insiders are now questioning whether Blake is truly fighting for justice or simply controlling the narrative, with the fallout splitting opinion. Some still see her as a feminist icon, while others view her as orchestrating a self-serving image-conscious campaign. With the cracks in her persona exposed, the carefully constructed balance of relatability and glamour begins to falter, turning the legal battle into a career-defining spectacle where her next move's redemption arc or drawn-out PR disaster determine whether she regains her footing or slowly fades from the spotlight. Blake Lively's latest feud with Justin Baldoni has exposed how unprepared and inconsistently portrayed her public persona really is, highlighting a stark contrast between her carefully curated brand and the unfolding chaos. Known for being relatable yet aspirational, baking cookies and couture, while joking about parenting with Ryan Reynolds, Blake now finds herself doubling down on victimhood while her timeline lawsuits and spontaneous activism reveal months of meticulous planning. Critics and insiders note that her attempts to cut people off, control narratives, and rewrite history have backfired, with co-stars like Adam Manchin publicly disputing her claims and describing the set as professional, undermining her accusations of harassment or mismanagement. Meanwhile, Baldoni has responded methodically with evidence, emails, and testimony that expose inconsistencies in her story, slowly flipping the narrative on its head and earning the support of observers and Hollywood insiders alike. Adding to the intrigue, the involvement of Ryan Reynolds, usually a master of self-deprecating humor and low profile. PR raises questions about the strain this feud places on their carefully managed image, while media outlets that once idolized Blake have pivoted to dissect her every move, uncovering PR strategies, photo spreads, and emotional leaks that paint a highly orchestrated picture. The saga has everything: lawsuits, leaked texts, shifting allegiances, public contradictions, and a career-defining tension between redemption and scandal. As more witnesses step forward to challenge her victim narrative, the cracks in Blake's carefully built persona are glaring, leaving the public and Hollywood alike debating whether this is merely the tip of the iceberg or a full reveal of the real Blake Lively. With endorsements, reputation, and legacy on the line, this dramatic saga is far from over, and the question remains: can Blake mount a redemption arc, or is the slow unraveling of her Golden Girl image inevitable?